Tonight, disturbing and shocking video showing a problem endangering you and your family on the road. Drivers under the influence next to you and I, but they're not drunk. Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny has been digging into this issue for months and shows you why this is a growing problem.
Drug driving is on the rise for many reasons in central Indiana. Police say as other states legalize marijuana, many people in Indiana think they can drive on it. We talk with the Franklin father who says his life was destroyed by drug driving. For Brian Mulry, his wife April was the love of his life.
April was one of the most sweetest, kindest women I've ever met. She had a great heart.
The couple was driving Johnson County rural roads on their way to a friend's cookout with their 5-week-old baby Allison in the back.
Saw a red blur and heard a loud noise. Boom. That's when the impact happened. To look to my right and see my wife taking her last breath. And that is something that will never ever leave my mind.
Police found marijuana by the driver Will Slinger's car, and his blood tested positive for the drug.
It's sickening to me.
The crash left Brian a single father. What do you think about people that use drugs and get behind the wheel?
I think that they're making a choice, and it's the wrong choice.
The deadly crash happened in 2005. Since then, the problem of drug driving has gotten worse in central Indiana. In 2016, drug driving made up 8% of Indiana State Police OWI arrests. In 2018, that number rose to 14%. And according to the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, drug-involved crashes are making up a larger and larger proportion of deadly crashes than alcohol. This is recent body camera footage we obtained from Greenwood Police. A driver is passed out near a busy road with his foot still on the brake.
Hey, get out of the car. You got in park? Put in park. Get out of the car.
The driver, Chad Brizendine, admits to being high on drugs.
I'm on probation or going to a drug test.
What are you on right now?
Officers find syringes and a spoon in the car. Brizendine is arrested, his blood taken, and he's charged with operating a vehicle while intoxicated, endangering a person. In another incident, Greenwood police respond to a crash on State Road 135. Officers smell marijuana on driver Cody Breedlove and give him a field sobriety test.
You took 10 there. That's one too many, partner.
Breedlove fails several of the tests and admits to hitting another car.
We were slowing down and I was looking away for a second.
Studies show marijuana use impacts your reaction time and impairs judgment, something many drivers don't believe, especially as other states legalize the drug.
I think it's wise and or smart to operate a motor vehicle after you've consumed something illegal.
Well, we consumed it and then we waited like 45 minutes.
The Johnson County Prosecutor's Office now prosecutes dozens of OWIs involving drugs every year.
For when I started 15 years ago, I rarely saw a controlled substance OWI.
This is a public safety concern.
Yes.
Deputy Prosecutor Drew Foster says people are getting smarter about using Uber and Lyft when they drink, but not when using drugs.
But a lot of times you have people who are driving on their prescription 3 or 4 drugs where even though it's prescribed, they shouldn't be behind the wheel because it is impairing them, like Xanax.
Prosecutors look at every drug driver on a case-by-case basis when deciding which charges to file and what kind of sentence to push for.
You just don't look at the blood draw results. You look at their driving behavior. You look at their behavior with the officer, whether they seem impaired, whether they failed the field sobriety test.
Ultimately, offenders are sentenced based on what the law and judge allow. Many first-time drug drivers receive probation with mandatory treatment. Cody Breedlove received probation, community service, a substance abuse evaluation, and he had to attend a victim impact panel. Chad Brizendine spent 6 months in jail and tells me he's now sober and living in Maine. As for the driver who hit April and Brian Mulry, Will Slinger served 2 years in prison for driving under the influence of drugs and causing April's death. In 2016, Slinger was arrested again, this time for leaving the scene of a crash in which several people were hurt. Slinger was later convicted.
It's got to be like a slap in the face.
It is. It is. I wish I had police powers because I'd pull every one of them over. I'd yank them off the road.
His daughter Allison is now 13 and will soon be driving on the road.
It's scary.
Brian hopes his story about losing April prompts others to think before they use drugs, even prescribe medications, and get behind the wheel.
You could do everything right, and be right. It doesn't matter.
Studies have shown that states that have legalized marijuana have shown an increase in crashes. This Colorado report shows that marijuana-related traffic crashes increased 66% since the state legalized recreational marijuana. Kara Kenny, RTV6.
And as Kara said, police in Indiana say the legalization of marijuana in other states is having an impact on our roads. According to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, crashes are up 6% in Oregon, Washington, and Nevada compared with neighboring states that have not legalized marijuana for recreational use.